Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on. I am so excited to be here. I'm so glad for the friendship of, Lisa and Paul over the years. We met, I think, if I remember correctly, back in the time when we went to Jackson Hole together. I think we had a picture. I should have put that picture on, but I think we took a picture during that success trip, and definitely was an amazing time over the years being able to get to know the both of you and seeing you on success trips and seeing how successful you've been. Also traveling the world. So I think I'm really humbled to be here today, to be able to share my story and also share what I am doing in the team of what I've learned over the years of doing this business. So a little bit of background about myself. I used to be a teacher 9 years ago. I started New Skin at 26, and I was introduced into the business by my uncle. And he's actually an engineer. So when he came to me and talked to me about skincare, I absolutely did not believe him because he was an engineer. So I said, I don't know why you're talking to me about this, but he said, hey, just look into it. Maybe it's going to change your future. It is something that, I am very interested in. And I think because of, Lisa mentioned relationship, and I think because of that trust, that 100% trust in your family, that I said, okay, fine, I'm going to go to Utah and check it out. And I went to Utah in June 2011, and that's when, everything just kind of history, because I fell in love with the company. I fell in love with the fact that we can give back, with the culture that New Skin has right now. And when I saw the picture with Norse the children, that really hit home for me. And I think that's a part of me being a teacher, wanting to help others. And I think that really helped me to really want to start this business. And so anyway, took me a while just to learn the business, because I've never done business before. I was like basically a kindergartner in this business, and I started from ground zero, didn't know anything. I was actually very timid and very shy. I'm not talkative like I am now. 9 years ago, if you see me, I probably would just say hi and that would be it. And I wouldn't be able to say anything or even like share anything. I can teach kids stuff, but when tell me to stand in front of, entrepreneurs and people and just talk about business, I was completely really, really shy. But it is a very long road. I think 9 years for me is actually short and long. Long road because I changed so much, so much. But then for that period of time for me to be who I am today, I think it's a short period of time for anybody to change in that past 9 years. But I definitely love, one of the part that I love the most, and Lisa kind of mentioned this, is traveling. And I think at that time, I started the business because I just wanted to do more and be able to travel and to give back. And being a teacher for me, definitely fulfilling in terms of that's my passion. I want to be able to give back and be able to teach. But then I also have this dream of, just traveling the world with my significant others and my parents. And so when I saw this business opportunity, I kind of grabbed onto it and I started doing it. And 3.5 years into the business, everything just kind of came true for me. I became a Blue Diamond. We got married, and then I started traveling, and I've been traveling for the past 5 years, almost 6 years now. And that's the best thing that happened to me. I get to travel with my whole family pretty much. And that's something that I was not able to do before New Skin. Traveling with your husband is definitely, it's a blessing, but if you're able to bring your family along, and I think that's even more incredible. And so that's what has happened for me in the past 5 years. I travel with my parents at least once a year. I travel with his parents at least once a year. We take them on our team lead trips. Last year, we took them on, our success trips and things like that. So I think we're able to do things like that for our parents and our loved one. I think that's the best thing that ever happened to me. And of course, the next best thing that happened to me with New Skin is that now I get to stay home. My baby is 5 months old. He's turning 6 months on the 28th this month. And we are able to stay home and just kind of take care of him full time, both my husband and I. We don't have to work for anybody. And I think that's one of the best things that ever happened to me. And I have to say, every morning I wake up and I thank God that I found this business opportunity 9 years ago, or that my uncle found me, and for me to say yes, and for me to continue on, and for me to kind of, go through all the struggles and the obstacle. And I think that's the hardest part, to be able to not give up when you hit like the block. And I hit many blocks. And I think a lot of us in here know over the years that, there's a lot of struggles when you're building a business. But definitely this is all worth it, even though it's only been 5 months with him. But I just feel like, the past 9 years, everything that we did, so worth every single day and every single second and every single hour that we get to spend with him. So yep, that's the best thing. That's what happened to me when I joined New Skin. But let's talk more about our topic tonight. Our topic is how to build a team of leaders. And when Lisa asked me about sharing today, and she asked me, what am I good at, or what would I like to share? And I said, one of the things that I've learned over the past 9 years with New Skin is how to build a team of leaders. And I learned, and my mentor, I think you already know him, is Team Lead Anwin. And I believe that he was on your call once or a couple of times, I don't know. But he did mention that he talked to you guys before. And I learned so much from him. I knew him since I was little. His parents and my parents are like completely best friend back in Vietnam. But when I started the business, he was the one that literally mentor me through from day one until now. And I have to be so thankful for him, because without him, I wouldn't be able to know all this principle that I'm about to share with you, because this is what he does with the team. And from there, I was able to learn, and I was able to implement it into my own team, and being able to support and help the people in my team to do the exact same thing and duplicate it. So how to build a team of leaders? There's actually 3 principles that I want to share with you today. And this is the first one that I put together, because when Lisa asked me to share about this, and I really thought back of all the lessons that I've learned from Team Lead Anwin, and there's so many. There are so many lessons about leadership, and there are so many lessons of how to really build a really good team of people that working together. And it's not just about a team, but building a family. Being able to build not just a family in the United States, but build a family in the world, like in different continents, in Europe, in Australia, in Asia, so many different places, and people, different culture. Even though we're Vietnamese, but we live in different, time zone and environment. So of course we're different. We don't judge the same way. So I kind of put together the 3 principles that I've learned, and I felt that's so important for me when I start building my team. And this is number 1. Number 1 is do not judge and seek to understand. And I think this is like a very old lesson. This is like one of my first lesson when I started New Skin. The reason being why this was a very important key or principle number 1 for me is because, as human being, it is so natural for us to judge. It is so natural for us to, whatever we see, we start saying, oh, that person is like this, that person is like that. It's such a natural human, nature to do that. So to be able to say, do not judge, and kind of trying to seek them out to understand who they are, I think it's a very hard thing to do. It's simple to say, but it is hard to do. But it is one of the first lessons that I've learned in this business is if I want to build a team of leaders, if I want to help other people becoming leaders, then first I cannot judge them, and I have to seek out to understand them. If I want them to understand me, first I have to understand them. And I think this is one of the things that I have implemented over the year with my team. And they have learned, and I have learned from them because of this, that I get to understand them a lot more. And I was able to speak to them more, to communicate, connect with them, and have a better relationship with the team, with my team members. And they have become, they were able to kind of do the same thing and duplicate. And so now the team is really building a group of leaders where they are very loving, and they very understanding of each other, and they very they know how to give back. They know how to give. They know how to basically help others when they ask. And we never ask who. Let's say if somebody comes to us and say, hey, can you help me with this? And the first thing is we do not say, oh, so whose team are you in? Well, we don't say that. We don't say, and we do not, oh, and I cannot help you because you're not in my organization. So things like this you've heard before, but because of this principle, it helps me to kind of take all that out and filter all that out. I never have to ask the question of where you come from, but it's like, okay, how can I help you? And I think that is very important as a leader, because if we are able to kind of open ourselves up and to really give and not judge and not really thinking, hey, is this person, whatever they're doing, will they benefit me? If we stop thinking like that, I think everybody going to be successful in this business, right? So that's the number one principle, and I think this one is very important, and that's why I put it number one. And it is hard to do, definitely. Not judging is something that not all of us can do this, but it is a good reminder. So I actually have this one written in my phone and on my notebook. Every single notebook that over the past 9 years, the first thing I would write on the first page is actually this one: do not judge and seek to understand. And sometimes I forget. Sometimes I would forget about, okay, if I encounter like an obstacle or something, and the first thing I would say, okay, who did that, who said that to me? And I start blaming somebody. But then I start thinking back about what I need to be and who I need to become, what kind of leader I need to set example for. Then I start thinking about this one, and I would turn my notebook over and I would see it, and I say, okay, I cannot do that. Let's take a step back and let's do this again, and try it again, and let's communicate again. So it has helped me over the years to mend a lot of relationship and being able to help me to connect with a lot of leaders without judging. And then even now, it becomes such a habit that now I have different leaders from different teams, not Vietnamese. They would come to me and say, hey, Katrina, what are you working that's what is your team strategy? What are you guys doing that's working right now? And I would say, okay, I'll share with you. You need the file. That's the first thing I said. I don't say, oh, where do you come from? Who is your team lead, or who sent you? I would not ask questions like that. I said, okay, sure. What kind of information you need? Do you need me to send you the file? Blah, blah, blah. You want to do a Zoom call? And I think that's kind of happened between Lisa and I too. And she shares something, I share something. I say, hey, I don't really care, who's your upline. I just want to be able to share. If I can be of value to you, I would love to share. And I think that's why I'm here today as well. So principle number one, to be able to build a team of leaders, then first we have to be the leader that we want our team to become, right? So we've heard that, law of attraction. So do not judge and seek to understand. Let's, really, before we can say that something's happened to that person and this person, let's come to them and talk to them first and have that connection with them first. Okay, and principle number two, and this one is very, very important as well. Trust and control. So I have to say the first 4 years of my business, I have a control issue. It's probably because you didn't know what to do. And so I start micromanage everything. I don't know if that ever happened to any of you in here, but it happened to me big time. For the first 4 years of my business, I try to control everything because I feel like I'm so insecure. I'm not sure if I let that person go, would that person succeed? If I let that person go, will something happen to them, So it's just this mindset. I was so close-minded. So everything was so within that word control, and I wasn't able to flourish. And even myself, I wasn't able to grow. So it took me a long time, and I had to be reminded over and over and over and over again on how this is so important in building a team of leaders, is that you cannot, or I cannot be so controlling and can be a control freak, and I cannot micromanage everything. Of course, at the beginning, you probably say, okay, that person is so new, you're gonna have to help them every little thing, and I do that. Okay, fine, I'll give you the first 30 days, but then after that, I kind of have to teach them to go find information by themselves and teach them to be able to, three-way with others. And that's one of the reasons why earlier I mentioned to Lisa and Paul that I do a lot of three-ways now, because one of the key to our business right now is actually to teach new people to reach out to other leaders instead of just depending on the person that brought them into the business. And I think this is very, very important to teach the leader how to kind of have that, not have that control with the team. And so I wanted to kind of extend this a little bit. One of the things that I have shared and also I have learned over the years is that when you have a lot of control, then the trust in the team and the leaders will lower. So what will happen is trust and control is like in balance, right? It's a balancing game. So if you have more control, then trust will drop. And then the opposite will happen. If you give them a lot more trust, then you don't have, you will not be too controlling. So to me, I feel why this is important to build a team of leaders is it's kind of like, okay, I'm probably the youngest one to talk about kids in here. But young is kind of like when you have kids, if you don't let their hand go, they will never be able to walk and they will never be able to ride the bike, right? That would be a great example here. So if you do not trust your kid to, take that first step, then you will always have them in your control and they will never be able to walk. And same thing with riding a bike. And I think, well, my son is not there yet, but that is something that I feel it will be applying here. And the same principle will happen for leadership. If I was to always be in control of everything that my leaders are doing or my Ruby Plus are doing, then I think they will never grow to become Blue Diamond and Team Elite. And I think that is just, something that I have to remind myself all the time as well. Like I have to trust them. So the way that this is how I learned about trust and control. When An has a project for me, he would say, hey, Katrina, I need you to do something for me. And I said, sure. The first thing I would always say is, sure, yes, I will do it. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if I can do it yet, but I'm going to do it. So I'm saying, okay, fine. What is it? Is it hard? It's like, well, if it's hard, you can learn, and I said, yeah, if I don't know how to do something, I'm just going to learn. I'm going to look, I'm going to ask somebody. But I always say yes first. And I always, and I think I learned this from An. An is somebody that would say this to you as well. He would say yes before he can find the answer to whatever that he just said yes to. So he trusts me completely 100%. So whenever he give me a project, he will never micromanage me. Meaning, okay, he says, okay, Katrina, can you do this for me? And you have a week. Deadline is a week. So within that 1 week, he would not bother me. Meaning he would not say, hey, Katrina, how are you doing with the project? Hey, did you talk to this person for that project? Hey, did you finish it? And, he would not micromanage me in that way. And he has never done that in the past 9 years. And that's what I learned from him. He trusts me completely, even though he knows I probably didn't know how to do that yet. Even though he said, okay, 1 week is a very stretch, is a good stretch for Katrina because she's never done this before. I don't know if she's going to be able to do it. And he admitted to me, he's like, I don't know if you can do it or not, but I'm glad you said yes. And I'm glad that I did not, pester you into telling me everything that's going on. So for that extended period of time, he would just kind of let me figure it out and trusted me in finishing that job in that whole week. And because of that, I grew so much as a leader. And because of that, I always finished my project for him. I always finished what he asked for by deadline. And I think that's one of the key, and I'm so glad I learned that lesson from the beginning. And I learned to be able to trust my leaders and to be able to trust our team. So now I pass that down to my team as well. So when I ask them, hey, can you help me do this Zoom? So they would just jump on and do the Zoom. And to me, it doesn't matter how the Zoom turned out to be. I would never come back and say, hey, you did that wrong. You didn't do it right. You did, you should have said this. You should have done that. I never do that to my team. I just said, okay, great job. What did you do best for that Zoom? And they would figure it out. And I said, oh, I think I should have done this better. I said, what can you do better next time? So those are the two things that I would always ask. So what do you do best and what can you do better next time? Because there's always room for improvement, And I think this is important as, when we are building a team of leaders, is that we are able to trust our leaders to finish their job and to finish the assignment and the task without having to pester them and, really kind of try to knock them some senses into them and, trying to kind of give them and being too controlling. And when that happened, there's no trust. And when that happened, they might not perform the best of their ability. And over the years, one of the things that I have been scared the most is actually to disappoint my leaders, to disappoint my mentor, to disappoint on. So whenever I cannot do something, I would come to him and I would say, oh, I'm so sorry. I was supposed to finish this project, but this happened. I think I could have done better. And then he would say, well, how would you do it better? And then I would tell him, this is how I'm going to do it better next time. I was like, great, perfect. Thank you for telling me. You did your best. Did you do your best? And I always said, of course I did my best. He said, okay, next time you can do a lot better. And, you know, and that's a learning curve for me. And so when I can feel that trust from him, automatically next time I do better. Automatically next time I excel in everything that he was giving that job to. So I think this is important when you're building a team of leaders, is that we have to give them a complete trust. And once we already give them that assignment, just let it go. And I learned to do that. It's so hard to do it. It's so hard to let go. It's so hard to, I don't know if that person can fulfill it. I'm scared that person might ruin it for the team. You know, you have that kind of thought. But then the moment that we can say, hey, I trust you 100%, I asked you for a reason, and I'm just gonna let it go, then the result always come out to be the best. So principle number 2, how to build a team of leaders, is we have to give more trust, and always have trust higher than control. And that's the only way that we're gonna be able to develop leaders. Okay, principle number 3 is frequency of interaction. And this is something that we are still doing right now. In our team name is GIVE. I think Lisa might have mentioned it, and it stands for Global Influential and Visionary Entrepreneurs, and its acronym is GIVE. And every 3 months, well, not since quarantine happened, but every 3 months we meet up. All Blue Diamond and team elites would meet and have a retreat. And actually, we have been wanting to, even with quarantine going on, we have been wanting to actually meet up probably in July or August somewhere to kind of have this retreat, because we feel, and I think this is so true, that if we do not see each other often enough, then we lose that relationship, and we lose that sense of working together. I mean, we can meet each other online like this, but it's not the same. But if you spend 3 days, at a retreat somewhere, up in the mountain, or, on the beach or something, that frequency of interaction creates such a powerful bond and a powerful, what is the word? Synergy. Powerful synergy that we're going to be able to pull the team together. So this is principle number 3, and I really thought about this one, and I said, what is the one thing that over the year helped me close the gap with all of my leaders? And it is about interaction with them. So interaction meaning daily talk, daily chat group, and also every a couple of months, I say maximum 3, have to see them. And see them in a very intimate way. Intimate mean, in a campsite or a retreat, a 3-day retreat, a 3-day powwow, boot camp, whatever we call it. So we do that all the time. And this is one of the reasons why all Blue Diamonds in our GIVE team, and I'm so proud of that, because I can brag about this. We're like the only Vietnamese team in all of network marketing companies that can work together the way that we're working together right now. And I think that is something that I'm so proud of, because it's not easy to work with other leaders. When you put a pack, like a full room full of lions together, imagine what happens. Okay, so they're gonna start fighting, but we learn to not do that. And all of our leaders, the Blue Diamond and team leads, they all come from different backgrounds. They have different level of education. Not everybody graduated college, not everybody finished high school, but we sat down and we locked arms and we talked, and we loving, and we really respecting each other. We respecting each other's point of view. We work together. We help each other as if we're brother and sister. And I think that is so key in building a team of leaders. And if we're not able to create that kind of bond, and we're not able to create that kind of environment for our leaders to grow up in, it's really hard for us to go far. And I see it happening. And so one of the things that, because, with COVID-19 happening, the last retreat we had was back in, oh my goodness, probably February, which is 4 months now. And then we felt like, oh my God, we're so out of sync. We need to see each other. We need to be in each other's zone, like be in the environment together. And so that's why we're planning to have something very, very soon. But frequency of interaction is actually very key in building a team of leaders. So we have to interact a lot with our leaders. A lot of time we think, oh, hey, I'm the blue diamond, I'm a team lead, you're the ruby, you're the emerald. You interact with the other emerald, you interact with the other ruby. Sometimes we have that, some leaders have that mindset. To me, I think that is just that should be tossed out the window, because we are all leaders. It doesn't matter if you're a team lead or you're MDC or you're 4-star platinum, or even we treat executive or ruby or emerald the same way, because we feel like everybody deserve, everybody that achieved the title deserve that, and deserve to be praised, and deserve to be called a leader. So when we call each other leaders, then we interact with them the same way. So I feel that's something that's very important that I actually implemented the past 9 years as well. I have a very young group. I used to have a group that I was the oldest one. And right now, I have to say probably 60% of them are younger than me. But I have a very young group, and and so for me to be able to interact with them, they see me like a big sister. And so when I interact with them, they have this kind of the way they talk to me in a certain way. And I say, hey, you know what? I respect you, my business partner. You're not younger than me. You're not, even though you're a diamond executive or something like that, you're not lower than me. You're at the same level as me. You are my business partner, and I completely trust you, and I completely want to work with you on the same level. And actually right now, I have to say, since when I got pregnant, and now for the past year, a little bit over the year, I have not really been active with the team, just because I was pregnant and now I have a baby. But the leaders in my team actually took over. And a lot of them are just Ruby, Emerald, and Diamond, and they work together and they kind of carry the team through. And I think I really admire that. And I come back and I say thank you to them, and I said, you guys are a rock star, because without me you survived. Without me, you are able to do a lot more, and actually they're a lot more creative. They're able to do a lot more than me. They're able to kind of create the result that I've never had before, and that kind of like just make me feel so happy. And so I love that. And they really, I'm really, really proud of them. And I say, even though over the year I wasn't able to kind of help them too much, but they still in contact with me very constantly, like every single day on the chat group, or they would call me right away and they say, hey, I need your advice on this, I need your advice on that. So I think when we're building a really good team of leaders, I really need to kind of be interactive with them all the time. But one of the things that I always recommend is actually to, if you are able to see them, I think it's best that we can have like retreat with our leaders once in a while. I don't know if Lisa and your team does do this or not, but I think that is something that is very key. And we used to go to Give You every single month, and go to Utah. We have Give University, and we do it every single month, and then it become every 2 months. And if whatever month that we're missing, that we don't see them in Utah for like 2 days, we felt like that we didn't do New Skin that month or something. It just felt so wrong that we didn't see them. So it became such a habit. I think it's such a great habit to have, because it creates such a great bond with our leaders, and to help them move forward and be able to help each other, and it create that family environment that I mentioned at the beginning. So that's pretty much it, to build a team of leaders, just those 3 principles that I mentioned. Of course, there's a lot more, but I think just for the sake of sharing tonight, I think those are the 3 most important ones that I have learned from On, and be able to implement it over the years. These are some pictures that I kind of put together that I am very happy. And I love seeing pictures like this because we're able to come together. And give has been building for the past 4 to 5 years, and we have been extending to Europe and Asia and Australia as well. And of course, Vietnam being one of our really big market back then. So to me, I feel like, with everything that we were able to do and learn from our top leaders on how to create a team of leaders, then we are able to be able to spread our team so wide. And you look at all these pictures together, we are all sidelines in these pictures. We have Blue Diamond team lead that, I have nobody, I have team in Europe, but I don't go to Europe as often. But then we have Blue Diamond and team leads that have a huge team in Europe, and I was able to plug my team into their team, and they would just take care of my team for me. And the same that happened here in US and in Canada or Vietnam, it's the same thing. So I think, being able to kind of create that environment for all of us to trust each other, to work together, and to have a team of leaders that just completely work together in sync, like brother and sister in a whole family, then it creates a big opportunity for us to spread ourselves and spread our team worldwide like this, because we do not have 10 hands or 3 heads to be able to pull everybody together into one. But with so many different Blue Diamond and team lead working together, this is something that we can create. It's a worldwide new skin team, and I think that is something that I love our team because of that, because we're able to trust each other enough to be able to help. And to me, I'm such a baby in this business, and I just feel so blessed to have all these Blue Diamond and team leads being able to support my team building as well at the same time. So thank you so much for having me on, but that's my presentation for today.